Let's talk to Dave in Exeter. Hello, Dave.
Hi, Mike. How are you doing?
Good, sir. What can I do for you?
So just picking up on Ben Wallace, on Ben Wallace's resignation and what Isabel Oakeshott was talking about, that predominantly what we're seeing is a managerial type approach to government. So probably what people need to sort of take on board with Ben, he was an odd one out in the cabinet because he'd actually got some expertise and experience in military matters as an ex-Scots Guards officer.
Yes.
Of course, what Isabel highlighting this is absolutely correct, that what we're seeing with the ministers is that they have no expertise or experience in their portfolio, and that's mirrored across into the civil service. But predominantly, it's the civil service that are running the departments, not the ministers. The ministers are really, I mean, if you wanted to look at Grant Shapps, OK, yes, some will say complimentary to him, well, he's a good manager, but really what he is just a set of jazz hands, isn't he?
He is. I mean, he's good at popping up in front of televisions and talking, but what he says is of very little relevance to anything. Exactly.
So, you know, pretty soon, you know, John Healey is going to be Defence Minister. I think that's rather academic as it stands at the moment. But what people have got to take on board is that the MOD is actually run by David Williams.
Yeah.
His boss, Philip Barton, and his boss in turn is Tim Barrow. Right, so our top brass have recently sort of gone in. So it's all very well Ben saying world-class. World-class what military?
Yeah.
World-class, you know, put it into some context. So I can pack the context out for you. So as it stands, since Cameron took over, and Isabel's correct, manager, our defence setting was that of a deterrent force.
Right.
It's neither capable of intervening, and it's failed as a Home Guard reserve back force because they can't get the recruitment has completely collapsed.
Right.
So, you know, realistically what we're looking at here is the top brass are saying that our military is broken, and we are pretty much, a lot of them have gone on the record and said defenceless, but a lot of the top brass have been cancelled as a result.
Because they've been critical of the government. I mean, I suppose some people would say if the civil servants are running the department, then that might be a good thing, because surely they should know at least what they're doing.
No, that's not the case, because when you go back to the pre-Blair civil servants that did have technical expertise and experience in their portfolios, what we saw was a bit of a transition under the Blair period where, you know, this was sort of phased out. You know, just to sort of, you know, the last straw for Ben, I'm going to give him some credit because he was a good minister and he was stable, and we've had defence ministers previously come and go like the wind, like they have through health or any other department. But the last straw for Ben was really the Biden and Washington administration blob over there, kicking him in the teeth and backing the Empress of European Defence in Ursula von der Leyen.
For the NATO job,
Yeah, so, I mean, it's not a sudden. This is not news to anybody in these circles. You know, this was coming at that point, and you could see him getting afraid when he sort of made the comments about, you know, well, look, I'm not Amazon just to sort of do deliveries here to Ukraine. So, you know, this is not news. There've obviously been a sort of, you know, a period there where they've gone, right, I've had enough. You know, in fairness to him, 4 years of this must be, you know, it's a really tough position. But what you've got to understand is it's David Williams that's in charge, and it's not the top brass that are in charge. They've been to Rishi and Hunt to say that our military is broken, we need more resourcing and investment, and Rishi and Hunt have already refused.
Yeah.
You're not going to see a change of policy where they're going to put resourcing into our military to bring it into some sort of a position where it's no longer a deterrent force. And if you want to sort of put it into the proper context, in 2010, Admiral Sandy Woodward, who led the task force to the Falklands, went on the record and said that we could no longer, as the baton handing over event between Blair, Brown and Cameron, when the Cameron government come in, he went on the record and said, as it stands at the moment with this defence review where they cut out all the capability, we could no longer defend anything other than either end of the channel. And nothing's changed during this Tory period.
It's shocking, isn't it? Dave, fascinating to hear you talk. I'd love to talk more, but we've got to run. But thank you for that insight. And you're obviously somebody that knows an awful lot about the inner workings of the Department of Defence. But we'll talk more about that as well, because we've got plenty more to discuss over the course of time. Mary, I know you were waiting patiently. Do stay with us. We'll pick you up after the news.